Hi everyone, it's Kristen. So I got this. You saw it in the other video that I did, Agatha all along, because we were talking about Blackheart. He's the Build-A-Figure of this wave. Um, and actually, before I started collecting again recently, I didn't know what BAF meant, like BAF, Build-A-Figure. I had to ask. So anyway, as a mostly X-Men collector, like I pretty much only collect, I will say, X-Men characters, like in terms of action figures, because of the mansion I made, obviously. And I pretty much try to stick with just characters that appear in the animated series. But this one, I mean, she looks so cool, and I had a good idea of what to do with her, so I got her. I didn't get the Wolverine, the Hellorine. Because even though he looks really cool, like I didn't know where to put him, didn't have a spot for him, and plus, like I'm trying to limit myself because if you try to collect everything, it gets expensive. So I was just gonna do, depending on how long this video runs, I was just gonna do like her origin story really quick, and the comics that pertain to it, and then unbox her and yeah, and kind of mess with her for a little while, play with her, see how she is. So we'll see how long this video lasts. I'm gonna try not to make it last very long so that we can get to her. But if not, I'll make another short video like about her specifically. So okay, basically the um Bloodstorm comes from the Mutant X universe, which was in 1998 through 2001, and it ran for like 32 issues and had like a couple annuals, like yearly annuals. And I'm not gonna like go into great detail because I did on one of my videos when I was talking about the article about it in the Wizard magazine. So basically, Havoc got pulled into this parallel dimension, and that's where this is. And the X-Men they're different based on moments that happened, in the comic books in the past. So Storm's moment that turned her into Bloodstorm is from Uncanny X-Men 159, where Dracula tries to turn her into a vampire. And so we'll just go quickly through this issue. So Dracula bites her. They find her in an alley. They don't know what happens to her. And so Kitty goes into her room to see what's going on, and she opens the blinds, and Storm's like, "Oh, the light, it hurts." And Kitty just tries to talk to her and says, "What's going on?" Um, and the light catches the Star of David necklace that she wears, and it like blinds her, like hurts Storm. And Kitty keeps kind of pestering her, so she like, grabs her, and Kitty runs out of the room crying. So we have Dracula kind of calling to Storm, and he comes to her room, and Kitty comes back with a cross, and it doesn't work on him because she doesn't believe, but he grabs her neck, and the Star of David hurts him, and she tries to get Storm to leave with her since he's hurt, and she says, Storm leaves with Dracula instead and says, forget about me and pray we never meet again. So she goes and tells the guys what she thinks happens, and they don't really believe her. And what I find interesting is that the whole cross thing has been attributed to the fact that people have kind of associated Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Christ, with being the first vampire. Like, he hung himself on a tree made of like aspen, and that's why the wooden stake to the heart will kill vampires, because that's how he died. And also, so basically he's the first vampire doomed to walk the the earth forever. And also Silver hurts them because you can see like Blade using silver tipped weapons or something. Although mostly we usually associate Silver with werewolves, but also, the whole it applies to vampires because, well, depending on which um, alliteration you of vampires you look at, but in most universes it does because Judas Iscariot was paid 30 pieces of silver for betraying Christ, and that's why silver hurts them. So anyway, I thought that was interesting that people attributed like the religious tones to um, vampires. And of course, Dracula is the most famous vampire. Bram Stoker, of course, wrote Dracula, and of course, based on Vlad the Impaler, which, okay, well, I won't go into too much detail about like vampire lore because I'm trying to make this video short. I'm trying to be better about like going off on a tangent on my videos, which I'm still not doing that great. Anyway, so Kitty's like, this is what happens. So they trail Storm, go after him, and of course Dracula is like he is super strong, has lots of powers. Can hypnotize people. I mean, like he just tossed Colossus aside like he was nothing. And Wolverine tried to do the whole cross thing, doesn't work because he doesn't believe. But Nightcrawler, he is a Christian, he believes, so it does hurt him. And Kitty goes and looks for Storm, and she finds her. And you can see her eyes are red. She has fangs. And, she's like, Storm's like, don't resist, kitten. It's an amazing change. And, she's like, Kitty has the wooden stake, and Storm says that stake means nothing. I could, fling you aside easily with my elemental powers. And, Kitty says, fight him, Storm. You once said that you are a goddess consecrated to life. Prove it. And then she drops her stake and says, but if you want my life so badly, then go ahead and take it. So we see her going back to Dracula, and she like turns on him. And Dracula's like, how dare you, bow before me. You're mine. And she says, no, I will not kill, and you cannot force me. And he takes this woman and says, fine, if you won't, then I will kill her. And Storm's like, I don't care what you do. Like, you can't make me kill. I won't do it. And so he said the strength and courage that drew you to me is now, defies me, has defeated me. And he said, you have earned Dracula's respect and hence your life, which, it makes me think of like the whole Doctor Doom saga in X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 170, 147, 148, where Doctor Doom, wants Storm to be like his consort. Um, and I think I did a video on that. I'm not sure, but it's just because, of course, Storm is, amazing. She's an omega level mutant, so she has a lot of villains respect. So basically, Kitty says, I was so scared, and Storm says, so was I. So the whole fact that Storm wouldn't kill, base is what saved her, and that she has this like indomitable will. And unfortunately, one Uncanny X-Men 170 is where she does kill for the first time. She kills Callisto to save the X-Men from the Morlocks. But she's not an indiscriminate killer like Wolverine that just kind of kills. She only does it if it's absolutely, absolutely necessary. And so another example of Storm's will and her willpower is that Malice, the, psychic entity that possesses people, and you can tell who it is by a choker. This is from when Dazzler first joined the X-Men. I did a video on this issue on my channel. And you see in this one panel, Malice actually possesses Storm, and she breaks Malice's control. Like, she's the only one in this issue that could do that. And she says, because, you tried to tap into my dark side, my shadow side. That's what sustains you and gives you power over us. But it also makes part of what makes me the leader of the X-Men. The more you pushed it, the more I was able to resist. You could not seize that aspect of my being that I long ago embraced. So she just, Storm is just incredible. She has this incredible will, and just, she can, she's one of the only characters I know that has resisted Malice, because of course Malice has possessed so many people. She possessed Polaris for the longest time. So, okay, this is the Mutant X. This is pretty, so we open with Kitty basically writing a letter to Peter saying, I love you, I'm going after Storm. And we find Storm in Dracula's castle, like in the dungeon, and she is about to eat and bite this rat. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And so we find Forge, who, is the, he's also called the Maker in this series, and he's responsible for creating the government anti-mutant arsenal. And, we see Kitty, going after Storm. And she talks about how Storm is, like a big sister to her. And here's Storm, and she, like, escapes with Forge. And you see Kitty still coming after her, killing the vampires to get to Storm. And Forge at one point is like, just go ahead. If you need to feed on me, then go ahead. Like, I, pretty much deserve it. And you see Storm and Kitty, like Storm, Kitty finds her, has a sword ready. And has a wooden stake ready. And she, she just can't do it. And Storm says, like, I can't resist the hunger anymore. It's too great. And she's like, I expected an X-Men to be my executioner, Havoc, perhaps, but not you. And we see Storm hypnotizing Kitty. And we see this panel. Storm bites Kitty. And Kurt and Colossus are talking about how it's been like 5 months since Kitty left to find Storm. So in this, basically they're saying, what if Storm did give in to Dracula? And that's what she did, and this is what would happen. And she retained all of her elemental powers, but she also gained, being able to turn into mist, into a flock of bats, hypnosis. That's what she used on Kitty. um, so that she would stop trying to, kill her, resist her. Um, yeah. And in the series, she used Forge and Kitty and fed on them. Like she kept them alive just long enough or just enough so she could, still feed on them. Um, yeah. And she joined, the team because Madeline Pryor promised that she could cure the storm of the bloodlust. Yeah. And actually, Bloodstorm, I think, made an appearance in like Earth 616, like the Marvel universe. It was like a time travel story, though, where she went back into the younger version of the X-Men and helped them with something. But unfortunately, she was killed by Ahab. So she was, kind of in the 616 universe, but not for very long. I think she was like it was like a year. So that's why they, chose to make her part of this, I believe. Of course, Dracula is also a part, so that's another reason why she would be included. No, like even though it's Mephisto's son, no Mephisto yet, like we talked about in Agatha all along. So I guess I will. This video ran a little bit long, so I will cut it off and do like an unboxing video, which should be like way shorter than this one. So I hope you will join me for that one so you can see, kind of what she looks like out of the box and like, how her joints are and stuff. Because some, like this, okay, the action figure I've been the most disappointed with is the Storm VHS one. Like her legs and her ankles are just like so, I don't know what to call it, but they don't hold up. Like you try to, that's why you see her mostly just kind of leaning back on the mansion because she can't stand up by herself at all. Like her legs and joints are just like super weak or whatever. I've heard people call them like gummy. I don't know, but I think I like the way she looks, but I'm very disappointed by like the actual structure of her because she cannot stand up by herself at all. So anyway, so I hope you will join me for that. And until next time, bye.